Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Constitution. My name is Joel Hawksley. I'm your host for the Morning Constitution, brought to you by J.M. Washington. Uh, things are a little stressed around the office today, but I'm praying for my colleague and his girlfriend's family, and I just would like you all to join me in those prayers. David is an incredibly compassionate human being, and to have his girlfriend lose a sister is a horrible thing. But life is a very interesting, how it takes us when it takes us. I just, uh, I just have to say that right up front. But we're going to have a good show. A lot of things going on in the news. Uh, Not too sure if you've been keeping up, but there's let's get out of Washington and let's start looking to the free state of Florida for most of our news. So it would be nice to have those opportunities. I am actually at Dunkin' Donuts this morning. I have to go to chiropractor. I'm doing this remote. Hopefully the quality will be good. I know there's music in the background. I know there'll be people working here serving. So if the background noise is background noise, and I apologize for that. But good morning. Good morning, Constitution. So, where do we start? I mean, we start with um, David has been very critical of the Democrat Party and how they didn't show up. He, he's been more than vocal about it, and there's been a lot of moving and shaking due to that. So, this this news comes into us, and I don't know if we were surprised that this came in, or we just thought that it'd taken entirely too long. So ABC News report did on January 10th that head of Florida Democrats resigns after disastrous midterms. The head of the Florida Democratic Party has resigned after a disastrous midterm election in the one-time battleground state. So a lot goes with this. It just didn't happen overnight. And if you don't know, the head of the Florida Democratic Party, uh, he so in an announcement, let's put it this way, in announcing his resignation, like Manny Diaz, former mayor of Miami, the chair of the Florida Democrats, sent a long letter Monday to the state's executive committee members complaining about a lack of resources, a lack of volunteers to knock on doors, and a failure to present unified messaging. Now, that's incredibly interesting because the entire nation of Democrats had a better showing than Manny Diaz did. So let's break this down. So the Honorable Manny Diaz says the state had a lack of resources. Well, the reason they put you in charge is you are supposed to build those resources. You're supposed to get those resources. That's your job to bring those resources in. Now, if you're not bringing them in, that's money. And the Republicans brought plenty of good, hard fundraising dollars to this last election. They did what needed to happen, and it was absolutely a benefit to them. And this, so lack of resources. Whose fault is that? That's Diaz's. So then he says a lack of volunteers to knock on doors. Well, again, when you pay for people to knock doors for so long, it becomes a routine that you want to get a paycheck. You want to be the party of the $15 minimum wage, and you don't want to pay to have people walk. Volunteering is not like it used to be. Very few people want to give it their time like they used to. So that's on you. You paid for it for several years now. You can't get volunteers. Why? Because they're not interested in your line of politics right now because they saw you try to take away their freedoms. And then Ron DeSantis has done a really good job at providing that evidence. It's not like he just says it; he's actually proved it. Can't go anywhere with that. And then failure to present a unified message. Well, the problem with the unified message is you had way too many things that you were talking about. And you wanted to unify your message on abortion. And the state of Florida put in a 15 week, put in a 15 week, hey, after 15 weeks, it's wrong. So where I'm going from this, if you can't, I'm a Republican and I wish it had incest, life of the mother, and rape. I mean, that lacking for me is it's not it's not an individual's fault if they're raped. So it's how do you put it? In 15 weeks, you've had plenty of time to know what you want to do. I just don't see myself, and that 15 weeks is a terrible burden on a person. Now, I may be wrong, but I'm not talking to Anna Escamani. I'm not digging into this. It's just I don't see any problem with some restriction. I am one that doesn't like government intervention, so you can understand that too. I support the Supreme Court in overturning Roe v. Wade. I believe that it should be, if it's not in the Constitution, it should be absolutely a state's right to regulate or do what they need to do. I do believe in the Commerce Clause. There's a lot in the Constitution. You got to take the whole Constitution for what it is. And it says if it's not covered in the Constitution, it's a state it's a state to regulate. Okay, get off that for a moment. But this is Manny Diaz failed at his job because he didn't do what he was necessary to bring everybody together. This is what we call leadership, Mr. Diaz, right? You bring your people together. You let them know this is what we need. You give it, you write the unified message. You put that unified message out. You let everybody know what that message is. Once you know what that message is, you fundraise on that message. If you put out the wrong message and you can't fundraise, again, Manny, that's on you. It's on you. So you lost Miami. That's your home. So I'm going to sort of back up because he's not going to be there any longer. He's not going to be there any longer because he failed the Democrats. That's all I'm going to say. It's just you have to realize you did not register the amount of voters. You were finally not the lead party in the state for registration. The Republicans did that. This governor is well liked, and I believe that there were several people that came off that. He came out and said, "Look, I'm voting for Ron DeSantis because he cares. I mean, he kept my business open. If you're a Democrat, and you had you're liberal and you own a business and you were getting shut down, it hurt. So there are there are barbers out there that probably didn't vote, the way they usually do. There's a lot of private business owners that left you standing there. And what this to me is those are excuses. And they really are excuses because if you actually take the time and the energy to do what you need to do, you would have had those resources. I mean, those things that I can stay in here. I mean, I can sit here and talk about those four things. That's all you. If you have to look at it realistically, that's on you. You know, and I'm looking for something right now, but it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. He decides to go there. You know. So he didn't even. I don't understand. It was the increasing pressure from his fellow Democrats that finally made him step up. I mean, I don't. Where were you? Where were you? I wish David were able to be on this conversation because it's like the party was not, but the Republican Party did so much better, and I'm proud of the Republicans. They did much better, but just like all parties, there is no. After what happened across the nation, see, we're in a bubble. We live in Florida. Everything is, everything was, beautiful for the Republican Party in Florida. Everything worked out. We had a great governor. But across the nation, the Republicans had a much different story. And there's a whole bunch of time. So, if you're not familiar with the Republican National Committee, it's chaired by Ronna McDaniels. Ronna, she's related to Mitt Romney. So everybody kind of thinks that was kind of funny that Trump's 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 #1 for the RNC just happens to be related to somebody that he's been kicking down, and they've been fighting, they've been fighting pretty hard. But she's been there a while, and it looks like Florida's GOP may formally back ousting our RNC chair. I mean, there's an anti-McDaniel conservatives in Florida secured enough support for force a special meeting. So there's going to be a special meeting, and the Republican Party of Florida may vote on whether to support throwing out Republican National Committee Chair Ronna McDaniel. She's come under heavy criticism for conservatives after a disappointing 2022 midterm show. Former state representative Anthony Sabatini, the new elected, he failed candidate for Western District 7, and now the newly elected chair of Lake County. He secured enough signatures from the party officials to call a special meeting to decide whether McDaniel should be terminated as RNC chair. Okay? So you thought that if you were a anti-Sabatini person and you thought Sabatini was going to go away by being defeated, it's not going to happen. It's just that's not going to happen. He is. He's going to be a vocal member of the party. He's going to continue to try to drive the party where he'd like it to go. And it's maybe it's not just about being certain. Maybe maybe she didn't do it. It took. But then again, there's a lot going on that we don't know behind the scenes. So I'm not attacking this like I should be. Kind of, it's kind of disappointing, and I'm disappointed in both parties and their work right now. And I wish that you out there had the opportunity to really step up and let your voice be heard, because our local politics gets so it's so diminished when you look at all this national stuff. Like, why do we have to be worried about Congress? Congress making a fool of, Congress is having a disastrous time trying to get the speaker elected. And, well, we can say, does that make them a stronger party? Does it make them weaker? We only have 4 votes. And we have an embarrassment in Santos. And, people finally, okay, well, now that they're not focusing on themselves and they can focus on somebody else, they are. But the Santos thing, that clearly is the Democrat that ran against them should have done the research, should have had this all done, and could have done this, and the news media should have done this way before he was ever elected. That's on somebody else. Not on Santos can take him down. I don't care. I don't care. But you can't say, well, the party's backing him and this and that. The party. This is what the people gave the Congress. And I'm going to be very clear. The voter, the constituent, puts the congressman in. If Santos were to resign, that seat would be vacant until there's an election. So that would only be 3 votes for the. There'd only be 3 votes for the majority, and it's not. It's who they gave to the Congress. So voting has consequences, and the Supreme Court has already backed the fact that you can lie. You're allowed to lie. It's humiliating, but it's humiliating. It's devastating, but hey, you have freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want to. The consequences come from whether the lie, if you perjure yourself under oath or something like that. That's different. So, just to be embellishing, I'm embarrassed. And I think everybody should be embarrassed. So, let me focus on. So we got the RNC. They're trying to get rid of their leadership. And the DNC, they're getting rid of their leadership. It's going to be a very interesting time. So the 19th, I've been invited to the grand opening, and I'm kind of excited. I'm kind of excited about. How do I put it? I'm just really excited about this because it's part of our opportunity to do the political salsa, which we're really excited about. And I think that this grand opening, this partnership that we have with these people is going to be phenomenal. But on the 19th, I also have a Seminole County Republican Executive Committee. Now, I typically would say, well, they voted, whether I like them or not. I really don't know if I want to go, but I'm a huge supporter of Congressman Corey Mills, and if he's going to be there to speak, I figure I'm there. We have to vote for a new treasurer because our treasurer lasted less than a week. And then they have a budget. Now, I think these people are. So when you do a budget, so I think they're not taking this as serious as they think because they presented a budget. Now I'm looking at the budget. I'm going. Anybody can put something on a spreadsheet, but being that I used to be the Orange County executive director, an unpaid position, but a lot of responsibility. Um, it was proved that you don't have to show up for that job, I guess, because Chadwick Hardy did a pretty good job of not doing anything, and that's okay. But when I was there, I made sure that I put together a budget. I made sure that the budget worked. I kind of want to say, you don't just put numbers on. You don't just put numbers on a piece of. But you just don't put numbers out there and think that people are gonna. Hey, that's the right way to do it. I got it. The problem is, the problem that we have is clearly that uh, they're not looking at it. They're not looking at it. So where am I at? Where am I looking for? Yeah, so a budget. They have a 2023-2024 budget, and they have like the Lincoln Day. They've got where they're going to get this money from. But they have campaign money. Is that like are they saying that in 2024 that campaign money is available, or are they saying uh, this is because this you can't put an annual budget cannot be 2 years. I mean, you just don't put out a budget that's 2 years. You have to say this is a non-election year. What are you going to do to raise money? What are you going to do with that money? And this budget doesn't do that. This budget is a fairy tale. And you're trying to say that you're going to pay, you didn't even say how much it's going to cost, how much you're willing to invest in the Lincoln Day. You just said what Lincoln Day is going to bring back. You didn't put it in there what it's going to cost. So I'm sorry, I really would like to go to this meeting because I truly believe that they want to be transparent. They want to talk about all this, how everything was so bad. This budget is horrible. And I don't understand it, anybody who knows how to do a budget would have even put this together. I mean, it makes no sense. The numbers do make sense, but that's only because math is math. I get this much and I can lose this much. It's simple. But, I mean, come on. Now this is very interesting. We can always have a little fun when we have somebody coming in on our chat, which is inappropriate. So sorry, I did not think that sex find info is what we're doing on our chat. So let's talk about real quick. Well, before we wrap it up, I want to talk about one more specific thing, and that is how do I put it? So Corey Mills, and I'm back in, but I'm gonna be disappointed at the same time. But Corey Mills has been in a campaign mode. He has been campaigning for so long that as our elected official, he's his own Twitter poster. He uses it himself. It's not any interns. And you got to be proud of somebody who is taking that initiative. So I want you to take that to consideration. When he decided to put an inappropriate post or being sarcastic, his humor runs flat as he's now our congressman. So he's deleted the chat, but the media is going after him, and that is inappropriate. So, and a good morning to David. I am so happy to see David is up and running. I know it's been a hard time for the family, and I'm excited to see that he's actually watching my show. That is all over the place, but we have an obligation to support our congressman. Our congressman did not really make a mistake. He's just transitioning in his role. He'll have his official Twitter and he'll have his personal Twitter. Let's give him some time. Let's not beat him up because he made what might be an off-color joke that went flat. You know, he's human, and I think that it was just a great opportunity to get a dig at him. And you know, the Sentinel doesn't give him any kudos anyways because he's a Republican. And yet they talk about when the speaker got elected that they put more emphasis on the fact that our Gen Z finally got sworn in. So yeah, they love their Maxwell Frost. I mean, come on, Maxwell Alejandro Frost is definitely their number one love, and they're happy to have him. And good, because I mean, now he can get a paycheck, he can hire staff. I'm hoping that he hires a really good, an excellent chief of staff, because if he could get his finances so behind that he destroyed his credit, which is he's accusing on the campaign, I would hope that if you're going to work for him, that the chief of staff is the guy that's going to make sure that the bills can get paid, and that's really important. And I would like to pay attention to what that office is doing. He made his first speech, big bragging about that. He made his first speech in the well of the Congress, so it's off to a good start. So to recap, Florida Democratic Party leadership has resigned and blamed everything on the Democrats and took no responsibility for his own actions. The Florida GOP, under the leadership of Anthony Sabatini, is working to try to get the RNC chair from that. So neither party is happy right now with their leadership, and let that be clearly let us know that if you're interested in leadership positions and you really want to be part of this, there's plenty to do. But if you're not willing to put in the hard work, don't do it. Off season is harder. I think an off season should be harder than an actual election season, because you have to do so much to prepare that you need to make that a smoother year, because you don't have time to sit, think, and plan. Do your planning now so you have a successful 2024. And again, if you're watching me and you're a Seminole County rec member, please make sure that you're there on the 19th. We need to be able to support our congressman, and we need to talk about this budget and how unprofessional they're treating this organization, and with a budget that doesn't make sense. So I'm going to wrap it up. I really appreciate the time you've given me. I can't wait to see my chiropractor, because my back is it, my back's in pretty bad shape. But I appreciate serving my country, and that's where it comes from. So I love you guys. I want you to have a good day. Remember, we have the Influence Club coming from Jay in Washington. We have, if you need somebody to get your message out, Manny Diaz, you could have used Door to Door I4. That's one of our Jay in Washington's fantastic canvassing companies. Does it digitally and we'll do it physically. And since you can't get volunteers, our organization of D2D I4, if you're gonna do it, do it. But Political Salsa, please, 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 if you're interested, if you want to help, if you want to be part of it, get your name in. Get your name in so that we can get you your spot early. And we'll be very happy to do that. So I'm overtime, and I'm just trying to make sure I get everything out. So love you, and I will see you. I'll see you later today. As a matter of fact, I'll see you at 11 o'clock on You Can't Make This Shit Up. And pray for me, because I'm going to be by myself. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.